Thank me for your problems. As soon as your mind gets snagged on a difficulty, bring it to me with thanksgiving. Then ask me to show you my way to handle the situation. This is the way that Jeff Metcalf is choosing to handle the tragic loss of his son, Austin Metcalf. Several people have been confused by Jeff Metcalf. They don't understand why he is the way he is. Why is this man forgiven the young man who decided to senselessly murder his child? Why is he trying to make peace with Carmelo Anthony's family? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Today, you're going to learn why Jeff Metcalf is choosing the way he suffers. I'm Tamera. You're watching the Tamera Nealy Show. I would like to welcome back all my returning subscribers. And if you're new here, I would like to let you know I'm happy you're here. Welcome back. I hope y'all had a great weekend. Before we get into everything that we're going to be getting into today, because we're going to talk about a lot. We're going to talk about Jeff Metcalf. We're going to be learning a little bit from Robert Downey Jr.'s perspective on life. He learned some things from a producer from a movie that he had been in. And I was like, you know what? This is interesting, very timely, and I should share it. So we're going to be listening to him as well. But before we get into the show today, let's quickly say a word of prayer, okay? Because I think we're learning a lot from this case. And I don't want you to miss out on the lessons that we're learning. There's a reason that Jeff Metcalf is one of the main people being talked about right now. There's a reason why Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony's the case between those two and the situation between them has gone viral, right? I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe that this case is come to our attention for no reason. There are things that we can learn from this case if our eyes are open and if we're willing to see it. And so I want to be open today. I want to be able to see beyond the surface, right? And so I want to pray really quick before we get into it, okay? Lord, I thank you for today. Thank you for Thanksgiving, Lord. You are just amazing. So I want to start off with thankfulness because it is every good and perfect gift comes from above, and life is the greatest gift that you have given all of us. So, Lord, I just ask that you help me to use my life for your glory, Lord. Help me to do whatever you want me to do. There's so many things that you want out of us, Lord. And I just pray that you just help us to be obedient. Do whatever you have us to do, Lord. Help us to trust you, Lord, because you're trustworthy. You are literally Alpha and Omega. You're beginning and the end. You're the first and the last, Lord. You're our creator. You're our life source, Lord. So help us to remember that you're our lifeline and to rely on you, to depend on you, because you are dependable. I love you and I thank you. I pray for you to just continue to bless Jeff Metcalf as he goes through this situation. Lord, the way that you are teaching him is truly inspiring. So let us all be inspired by the gift that you have given him and given us. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's go ahead and go to the first segment of today's show. Let's just go ahead and get on into it, all right? All right, y'all. So y'all might have wondered what I was reading. And I was reading from Jeff Metcalf's Facebook. He made this post a while ago, and he's been posting quite a few things on Facebook that have stood out to me. Keep in mind, Jeff Metcalf lost his son a little bit over a month ago. If you don't know what the story is about, Jeff Metcalf's son, Austin Metcalf, which can be seen here, I don't know which one is Austin Metcalf, if I'm being quite honest. But because Austin Metcalf has a twin brother. So one of these is Austin Metcalf. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. But Austin Metcalf, which I'll pull up a picture of him. Let me see. Here's Austin Metcalf. So Austin Metcalf on April 2nd had, so police received a call on April 2nd that there had been a stabbing at a Frisco track meet, and they arrived to find that victim Austin Metcalf was senselessly murdered by suspect Carmelo Anthony at a track meet over a seating dispute. Carmelo Anthony entered Austin Metcalf's tent. Austin Metcalf had asked him to leave their school tent. We're still wondering why Austin Metcalf asked him to leave the school tent. That is still under investigation. But either way, who cares? It's his school tent. And so Austin Metcalf asked Carmelo Anthony to leave the school tent. Carmelo Anthony said that he wasn't going to leave. I mean, he refused to leave. And he said, touch me and see what happens. And so I suppose that Austin Metcalf pushed Carmelo Anthony, and then Carmelo Anthony said, punch me and see what happens. So it seemed like Carmelo Anthony, from my understanding and from what witnesses have said, Carmelo Anthony had been mouthing off in the tent. So he seems like he has that sort of personality just from, watching videos of him and learning more about him. He seems like he kind of has that sort of instigator type personality. And so Austin Metcalf, was obviously something happened, and Austin Metcalf is like, dude, you got to leave. Like, this is not your tent. Go ahead and leave. And so, as I said, Austin Metcalf or Carmelo Anthony said, touch me and see what happens. Then he goes on to say, punch me and see what happens. Knowing that he had a knife, because he had just reached into his school backpack, his Centennial school backpack, and he grabbed a knife. And he proceeded to say, punch me and see what happens. And next thing you know, he stabs Austin Metcalf right in the chest. If this isn't evil to you, I don't know if you have eyesight at this point, because it's obvious that his actions were just evil. There's no reason. You got to have hate in your heart to just kill somebody senselessly like that, to take a life, to murder somebody. And that's why Carmelo Anthony has now been charged with first-degree murder, of Austin Metcalf. Well, there have been a lot of updates in this case, and I'm talking about a lot. So there was an update that we missed out on last week. So Carmelo Anthony was set to be expelled from Frisco ISD, which is his school department, right? His school district, excuse me. However, Frisco ISD caved into the demands of Carmelo Anthony's spokesperson's request, which is Dominique Alexander. We have been speaking and talking about Dominique Alexander from the beginning, and we're going to get into some of the things that Dominique Alexander is planning, but it won't be in today's video, because on April 25th, Dominique Alexander is planning something that is very dangerous. And so we will keep an eye out on that. I will talk about it as it comes up. But anyways, Dominique Alexander put some pressure on the school district, and now the school district has decided they are just going to go ahead and allow they are not going to expel Carmelo Anthony, and he's now able to receive his diploma. So now they've decided he will receive his diploma. Here's an email that Jeff Metcalf had posted on his Facebook. It says, legal objection to proposed expulsion of Carmelo Anthony, letter attached. So I'm guessing someone had sent this letter to the board of directors or somebody at Frisco ISD. So it says, dear Frisco ISD leadership and board of trustees, please find attached a formal letter from the American Freedmen Legal Fund regarding the proposed expulsion of student Carmelo Anthony. This communication outlines serious legal concerns related to due process, racial equity. Of course, they make it about a race issue, which this case since the very beginning had Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, has even said that he didn't want anybody making this into a race thing. He said that this is between two young boys and things like that. And of course, unfortunately, we have seen that because Dominique Alexander and Carmelo Anthony's family and his defense do not have a solid argument and contention against Austin Metcalf, they have resulted to using race as a way to kind of bait the situation, right? I hope that makes sense. And so it says in assumptions of innocence, presumptions of innocence. The Freedman Legal Fund is monitoring this matter closely and requests written confirmation that disciplinary proceedings will be paused until proper procedures and legal protections are ensured. Should you have any questions or require further information, I'm available by email. Frisco ISD is caving into the argument that Carmelo Anthony did what he did due to self-defense. Carmelo Anthony senselessly murdered Austin Metcalf due to self-defense. That's the case that they are claiming. That's the argument that they are going with. That can cause really big issues in the future, because if you see that Frisco ISD is caving in, the question is, will the jury cave in as well? We know this case is going to trial, so this is really an interesting situation. And unfortunately, I'm not sure how this is all going to turn out, but I'm choosing to trust God. I'm putting this in his hands. At the end of the day, that's what we have to continue to do, is pray and do what we can. Jeff Metcalf posted a petition, and it says, sign the petition. Let's get this going before we meet the Frisco ISD on Monday. Well, on May 14th, Jeff Metcalf posted, just got turned away from Frisco ISD by security for asking to speak with the superintendent. So I made an appointment for Monday at 8:30 a.m. That's the first appointment they had open. I offered to wait all day today for 15 minutes of his time, but he was unable to spare anything for me. See you on Monday. Do you see why that would be problematic? If anything, in my opinion, the superintendent should have already reached out to the Metcalf family. They know that this case is a big deal. The Frisco ISD superintendent has even already released statements about this case. And we saw his statements that he posted, and he said over the past few weeks, Frisco ISD has faced two troubling, concerning incidences. He goes on to write later on, he says, my heart is with everyone affected by this incomprehensible loss. I extend my deepest condolences to the family, friends, classmates, and all those who are grieving. And when the unimaginable happens, as the incident that occurred at Haas, it shakes us to our core. These moments test us, but they also unite us. And then he went on to say, fake social media profiles, false accusations, and fraudulent fundraising campaigns are being used to sow division and profit from tragedy. Let me be clear. Frisco ISD will not tolerate misinformation, manipulation, or any attempt to undermine our community, he said. Well, that's not true. Frisco ISD seems to be caving into division, and they're caving into, and they are tolerating misinformation, because they know good and well Carmelo Anthony has already admitted that he's not alleged. He didn't allegedly kill Austin Metcalf. He didn't allegedly stab Austin Metcalf in the heart, and Austin Metcalf didn't just die in his twin brother's arms for no reason. Carmelo Anthony said that he did senselessly murder Austin Metcalf. That is why Carmelo Anthony is being charged with first-degree murder. It's not for no reason, okay? They had to have had some probable cause in order to charge him with that. And so murder is a huge, doing something like that is a big deal. It's not something that you should just blow off and say, you know what? Oh, no, this happened at a school event. You guys are actually partly responsible for this incident happening in the first place, because you knew that Carmelo Anthony had been suspended before for bringing a knife to school. And y'all have been trying to suppress that information for over a month now. We know that Amelia has already revealed that information to us. And so the question is, why is Frisco ISD trying to protect Carmelo Anthony? What is Frisco ISD afraid of? If they're afraid of, are they afraid of the social justice movement? Are they afraid of Dominique Alexander? Are they afraid for any other reasons? That is the question that I have for Frisco ISD. And so we know that Jeff Metcalf was set to meet with Frisco ISD this morning. I don't know how that meeting went. I haven't seen an update on that meeting, but what I will say is this. Jeff Metcalf made this Facebook post about 2 hours ago, and he details his thoughts and he details something that Ernest Hemingway once said. And it really stood out to me, and I'm going to share this with you guys because so many people are confused by Jeff Metcalf and why he thinks the way he does and why is he acting the way he is. Well, just from observing Jeff Metcalf on Facebook, we know that Jeff Metcalf is a cancer survivor. He has gone through life obstacles. He's also faced divorce. He's faced adversities. He chooses to suffer in a way that most people don't choose to suffer, which is suffering gracefully, which is suffering through, I don't even know how to even explain it. It's like the way Jeff Metcalf chooses to suffer it's almost unheard of. Like people don't usually handle a situation with such grace and such humility and such kindness. But it goes to show the love of God that is in Jeff Metcalf. And some people get upset and they're like, I don't understand why Jeff Metcalf is even, saying that Carmelo Anthony should serve time or whatever. I don't understand why Jeff Metcalf is saying this. It's because he understands there's consequences for actions. Just because Jeff Metcalf has chosen to forgive Carmelo Anthony doesn't mean that Jeff Metcalf thinks that Carmelo Anthony shouldn't face consequences for his actions. We know that God disciplines those he loves. And so therefore, we know that sometimes discipline is required, especially when you take a life that you had no business even being around. He had no business being in that tent, but he chose to be there. And so I want to read this because the purpose of this show today is to really talk about how to view life through a positive lens. Because that's the thing, is there are so many people who have been in similar situations as Jeff Metcalf, and they have handled it totally differently. It's made their heart harden. It's made them kind of frustrated. It's made them angry to the point where they no longer can extend love. They no longer can extend kindness and grace. And due to that, it has made it to where they're no longer open. It's made it to where they're still living, but they're not living life to the fullest. And so the way Jeff Metcalf is handling this situation is very good, because when he looks back on this time, and I pray that he looks back on this time, when Jeff Metcalf looks back on this, he's going to look back on this with a sigh of, I did the right thing. Yes, it was tough. People fought me for it, but I did the right thing. And there's nothing like that feeling of knowing that you did it right. Because at the end of the day, he wants to hear, well done, thy good and faithful servant. My good and faithful servant. Isn't that something that's cool? We can take a lot from Jeff Metcalf. We can learn some lessons from him. And that's what I want you guys to realize. This case isn't before us for no reason. There's something that God is wanting us all to learn from this. The question is what is it? Jeff Metcalf wrote this 2 hours ago. He said, Ernest Hemingway once said, the most beautiful people we meet in life are often those who walk through the fire. They have faced defeat, endured pain, struggled with adversity, and experienced loss in a way that most of us can barely comprehend. Yet it is through these trials that their true beauty emerges, not the kind that is seen on the surface, but the kind that radiates from within. These people have mastered the subtle art of resilience. They know what it's like to be broken, to feel lost, and to question everything they've ever believed. Despite their struggles, they rise again, emerging stronger and more empathetic. It's this journey through darkness that shapes their hearts with an unmatched sensitivity. Having endured suffering, they have incredible capacity for compassion. It just kind of shows you that there's two different types of people. There are people like, no offense, but there are people like Dominique Alexander, and you see how he's dealing with this. And then you see people like Jeff Metcalf. That's all I'm going to say about that. So it says, their beauty is not about their appearance, but about how they make others feel. A quiet yet powerful presence that brings warmth and healing. They have learned to understand life on a deeper level, seeing the world not just with their eyes, but with their hearts. Did y'all hear that? Are you guys really listening to what's being said here? We can learn so much. He says their understanding of human pain allows them to connect with others in a way that feels authentic, raw, and deeply comforting. They listen without judgment, offer support without expectation, and extend kindness without holding back. What makes these people so special is that they have weathered their own storms and emerged with an appreciation for life that many who have not faced adversity may lack. I want to stop right there just for a quick second, because I want you to take something from that. In life, and we talked about this in last episode when we were talking about the young man at, we were talking about Charlie Kirk and the whole debate that he had with the young man who believed he was a victim or whatever. What I want y'all to take from that sentence is going through life struggles is really supposed to actually build your character. It's supposed to make you better, not bitter. And so that's the thing. That's what Jeff Metcalf is allowing this situation to make him, is better, not bitter. And so many people on social media are trying to push him to become bitter, push him to push hate, push him to be divisive, push him to do this, do that. But the reason why he's not caving in is because he has gone through the fire. And he understands that when you play with fire, you get burned. The way to win is not to do it like that. The way to win is to do it God's way. And that's why I respect Jeff Metcalf, is because he understands the importance of not doing things in his own strength. Because he understands that he can't see all. He understands that God's thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. And so therefore we have to submit to Christ. We've got to submit to somebody who's higher than us, someone who's bigger than us, someone who's greater than us, because we are not the answer. Jesus is the answer. And some of y'all don't want to hear that because it's like, oh, I can do it all by myself. I got ChatGPT. I got, all this stuff that could help me out with this. But that's the thing, is nothing can help you out other than God, because all those other things are just going to continuously leave a void in your heart. It's going to continue leading you to search for more and still not be satisfied. But when you understand that you need to be connected to the source, the one who created you, you will then start to understand the deeper meanings of life. Do you understand? Do you get where I'm coming from? Where were we? So Jeff Metcalf goes on to write, a gentle strength comes from the understanding that everything is temporary and that every struggle has a lesson. Their hearts are filled with love, not just for those around them, but for themselves. A love forged in the fire of their experiences. Wow, so powerful. This kind of beauty doesn't happen by accident. It's born of enduring the hardest parts of life and choosing again and again to move forward with an open heart. It's a choice to see the good even when things seem impossible. You guys wonder, I have to stop just for a second, okay? I have to stop because God just hit me. A fresh revelation just hit me. So, I don't know if y'all watched the movie Iron Man. Okay, so have you seen that movie, Iron Man? I'm talking about Iron Man 1. And in the first part of the movie, probably the first 30 minutes of the movie is dedicated to Iron Man being, basically Tony Stark was trapped. He was kidnapped by some foreigners, and basically the foreigners were saying, you have to build this weapon for us or else you won't be released. And we know that obviously they probably were just going to kill him, but they wanted some of his weaponry. Well, they had partnered him with somebody who could speak English, and I guess who was a part of their team, I'm not sure. But they had partnered him with this guy who could speak English, and turns out that guy ended up helping Tony Stark built Iron Man. And so Tony Stark built Iron Man. The guy had gotten in trouble for some odd reason. And so they told Tony Stark, you have one more day to build our weaponry, or else, dangerous things are going to happen. And so Tony Stark and the man finishes building Iron Man. And that Iron Man was going to be the way that they escaped this prison that they were in. Well, unfortunately, the man had got caught in the crossfire and he was down. He ended up getting shot. And so Tony comes back to get the guy and he's like, hey, he's in his Iron Man suit. He's like, it's time to go home, like to your family. Cause the guy had been saying he wants to leave to go see his family. And that's why he's helping Tony to build this weaponry. Well, the guy tells Tony in that moment, he says, hey, actually my family's already dead. He says his family was already dead. And the only reason why he said this was the real mission. He said something along the lines of, don't waste your life. And Tony Stark ended up going back to Tony Stark Industries, and he ended up becoming Iron Man. Isn't that powerful? And the reason why I'm sharing that is because it is through adversity that many heroes become who they are. And I would say that Jeff Metcalf is a hero for so many people. There are so many lessons that are being learned because of him. And I hope and pray that Jeff Metcalf sees videos like this and he's encouraged to know that he's doing something that is so good. He's showing us how to love. He's showing us the love of Christ. And that really, we give all the credit to God, right? Because it is through Christ that you can be like this. But it's just an amazing thing to see somebody actually living for the Lord. And I bet it has something to do with some pain that Jeff Metcalf has gone through. But he decided not to waste his life. Are you going to waste yours? All right. So Jeff Metcalf goes on to say, this kind of beauty doesn't happen by accident. It's born of enduring the hardest parts of life and choosing again and again to move forward with an open heart. It's a choice to see the good even when things seem impossible. That's where we left off. The most beautiful people aren't just lucky or talented. They faced the worst and found a way to rise above it. Some of y'all are facing some things in life right now. You're facing some hard things. And this is a test. Are you going to rise above, or are you going to handle it your way? Are you going to rise above, or are you not? You get to choose the way you suffer. You get to choose the way you handle things. Turning their scars into strengths and offering that strength to others. So when you meet someone with this kind of beauty, okay? Someone whose spirit shines through in their words and actions, remember that their light was born out of struggle. They have walked through the darkness and emerged with hearts that know true love, kindness, and compassion. It is beauty that cannot be bought or imitated. It is earned, hard won, and truly priceless. What does true beauty mean to you? How do you see it manifest in people you admire most? So powerful. Very timely post, because I literally just watched Iron Man over the weekend. That's what I was doing and other stuff. And I bring this up to say, because somebody watching this, I know there is at least one person watching this who is going to be the Iron Man in somebody else's story. You may be going through something hard right now. It may look dark. It may look like you never will get over it. You'll never succeed. It'll never happen for you. You may feel like you're not enough. You may feel like, why me? But it is in those moments you get to choose how you suffer and who you will be. God gives you free will to make life choices. and he gives you grace to continue along the path. I thought this was a very powerful thing, and that's why I shared it. I want to quickly play this clip from who we know to be Iron Man. His name is Robert Downey Jr. Some of y'all may know him, okay? So I'm going to play this clip really quick. Hopefully I finish this really quickly because I want to get this video up in a timely manner so that you guys can see it. I want to say that last video, I know I posted it really late at night. It was like 11 p.m. and some of y'all were able to join, but I know how important being a part of the premiere is for y'all, and I'm trying my best to post sooner so that you're able to get to be a part of it. And so I'm gonna just play this clip. It's about 1.5 minutes long, and then we'll get to the next thing, okay? And then we'll close. That's what I meant to say.
The reset button. Yeah. You kind of have to have a confidence to jump into some of the roles that you've taken, though. But I see what you're saying. Like that you don't want to hold on to it.
Because it can come and go. I remember Warren Beatty, who I learned so many amazing things from. I was doing a movie called The Pickup Artist with Molly Ringwald.
I remember that movie.
Okay, and he was kind of the de facto producer of it, uncredited. And he taught me a lot about just acting and what it was. And he said, "What's your action in this scene?" And I was like, "Oh no," he's asking me. I was like, "My action? I'm picking up girls." He goes, "What's your action in this scene?" And I was like, "I'm driving a car." And he asked me, like, you know that thing sometimes when someone asks you a question and just you get caught flat-footed. And he goes, "No, your action is you're trying to go to work, but you're getting distracted by this addiction you have to trying to get laid. So your action is you're trying to get to work." And I was like, "Oh yeah, he's right." And he said, "Always know what your action is, because then when you come in the morning confident, or when you come in the morning and you can't hit your ass with both hands, you know what to do." So to me, one of the great lessons I learned from him was, oh yeah, just boil down what it is you're doing, whether there's a camera around or just what am I doing today. Today I'm showing up and I'm trying to be honest and also to listen and learn. But really, my action today is I'm beginning a process of promotion.
Warren,
I wanted to share that with you because I thought that was so powerful. What is your action going to be? Okay, if you ever watch Robert Downey's story, and you should probably watch it at some point, he has an interesting perspective about life. I know he's not a believer, and I pray that he becomes one, because I know that God will take him even further, okay? Even further, but even in his life, he has overcome so many adversities. And it's because it seems to be that he's reflective. And so I think that's something that we can learn from Jeff Metcalf, from Robert Downey, from others, is to reflect, to be reflective. See the lessons that you're learning. Don't take them for granted, because life is really a gift. Every single day is a gift. All right, y'all. So we have come to a close. Thank y'all so much for watching today's video. I hope you take from this that life is truly a gift. It is a blessing. Every day is a gift. Every opportunity is a moment that you can learn a lesson. And it can be used to not just help yourself, but help other people, which is what life is truly about. It's not about us. It's about those who we impact, those who we help the most, those who we love the most. And, that's really all I wanted to say. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm about to go ahead and edit this. If you made it to the end, thank you for making it. Please let me know, because I love when y'all let me know you made it. I just really enjoy spending time with y'all, and I'm so grateful for y'all. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for just being a part of this community. I love community, because I know life is about experiences that you have with others. And so I want to thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for your love and support, and you'll hear from me soon, okay? Love you guys.